before the rise of modern Nepal, before borders were drawn and kings unified the land, there existed a civilization in the Kathmandu Valley that shaped its identity for over 2,000 years, the Newars. Often described as the original inhabitants of Kathmandu, the Newars are not just an ethnic group, but the creators of a rich urban culture, a living museum of art, architecture, trade, and tradition that still defines the soul of Nepal today. But where did they come from, and how did they build such a sophisticated society in the heart of the Himalayas? The story begins in the ancient Kathmandu Valley, once believed to be a vast lake, according to both geological evidence and local legend. Mythology tells us that the Bodhisattva Manjushri cut a gorge at Chopar with his sword, draining the water and making the valley habitable. Long before recorded history, early settlers, possibly from Indo-Aryan and Tibeto-Burman origins, began to populate this fertile land. Over centuries, these groups merged, giving birth to a unique community that would later be known as the Newars. Unlike many other civilizations that remained rural, the Newars developed one of South Asia's earliest urban societies, building organized towns, marketplaces, and temples that rivaled those of much larger empires. By the time of the Kirat and later the Lichavi dynasties, the Newars had already established themselves as skilled traders, artisans, and administrators. Inscriptions from the Lichavi period, around the 4th to 9th centuries, reveal a thriving economy and a highly structured society. What makes the Newars truly fascinating is their ability to blend influences from Indian plains to Tibetan highlands, creating a hybrid culture that was both deeply spiritual and economically powerful. Much like how Christopher Columbus connected distant worlds through exploration, the Newars became the cultural and commercial bridge between India and Tibet, controlling key trade routes that brought wealth and ideas into the valley. The golden age of Newar civilization came during the Malla period, from the 12th to the 18th century. This was a time when Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, and Patan flourished as independent city-states, each competing in art, architecture, and cultural excellence. The intricate wood carvings, multi-tiered pagoda temples, and palace squares that we see today, like those in Durbar Square, are masterpieces created by Newar artisans. In fact, the pagoda-style architecture that spread to China and Japan is widely believed to have originated from Newar designs, carried by skilled craftsmen like Araniko, who was invited to the court of Kublai Khan in the 13th century. But beneath this brilliance lies a complex and sometimes mysterious social structure. The Newars developed a unique caste system that differs from the traditional Hindu Varna system, blending both Hindu and Buddhist traditions into everyday life. It is one of the few societies in the world where Buddhism and Hinduism coexist so seamlessly that rituals, festivals, and even deities are shared. Festivals like Indra Jatra and Bisket Jatra are not just celebrations, but living echoes of ancient beliefs, some of which remain unexplained even today. Hidden within the narrow alleys of Kathmandu are stories that historians still debate. Some scholars believe that the term Newar itself may have evolved from Nepal, suggesting that the Newars were once synonymous with the identity of the entire region. Others point to linguistic evidence, noting that the Newari language, or Nepal Bhasa, contains elements that hint at migrations and cultural exchanges lost in time. There are also whispers of lost scripts, forgotten dynasties, and underground trade networks that once connected the valley to Central Asia. Then came a turning point. In the 18th century, King Prithvinarayan Shah unified Nepal, bringing the Malla kingdoms to an end. While this marked the birth of modern Nepal, it also shifted power away from the Newars. Yet despite political changes, the Newars never lost their cultural dominance. Their festivals continued, their art endured, and their traditions remained deeply woven into the identity of Kathmandu. Today, as you walk through the ancient streets of the valley, every brick, every temple, and every courtyard whispers the story of the Newars, a people who turned a valley into a civilization, who connected cultures long before globalization, and who preserved their heritage against the tides of time. Their origin may be layered with myth and mystery, but their legacy is undeniable. And perhaps that is the most fascinating part of their story, not just where they came from, but how they continue to live, unchanged yet evolving, in the heart of Nepal.